How to develop psychic abilities. Now, we've got to presume that before we start, you actually have a certain amount of ability. Then, and again, in which of the many, many different areas is your ability? Then you have to start experimenting. Now, experimenting how, you might say? Okay, you might have an idea of some, it tends to be impending doom, if that is your particular area. You need to date it and write it down. So, as and when the event comes to pass, you can say, well, indeed, I did know that. It's not for me to tell you how to develop your particular abilities, because abilities are very varied. I was given a pack of tarot way back at the beginning of my development, and I used to literally sit on the floor with the deck of cards, a willing friend, and the book. That is how I started there. Quite often the X factor in development is that quite often it's best to have a friend, colleague to bounce ideas off. Now, I know that's not so easy to find, but if you have that luxury, then you'll pick up the occult books and try all sort of experiments. I can think of one very scary experiment I did with a friend who was deeply into the field as I was at that point, and that is at midnight on Halloween, in a darkened room, sit in front of a mirror with a candle between you and the mirror and see what you see behind you. Now, is that scary? Oh boy, it's scary. So, I can't tell you which experiment might work for you. That's for you to divine. Some of them are less perhaps scary than others. Some are extremely scary. You must also ascertain as best you can how strong a character you are. I started my development with the Ouija board. So I have to credit the Ouija board with bringing to my attention that I have the ability to contact spirit. However, am I recommending that everybody goes out and plays with the Ouija board? I most definitely am not. It is not a toy. In fact, what I'd like to say about this whole field is it's not a toy, not to be undertaken lightly.